Attention Minnesota Vikings fans. The news we have today will drive you crazy. Vikings fans are flooding our social networks trying to understand what just happened. And here in this video, you will know everything firsthand. So don't leave. Don't forget to leave your like on the video too, because it helps our community to grow more. And if you are not subscribed yet, subscribe, because here we always do giveaways with subscribers. Now let's go to today's news. Vikings confirmed Jameis Winston as an ideal target to support J.J. McCarthy. With Aaron Rodgers' cycle finally over, the Minnesota Vikings can move forward with greater clarity about the future of the quarterback position. Now, the team is focused on solidifying J.J. McCarthy as a starter and looking for a veteran to join the roster, bringing experience and stability to the area. The trade market remains a viable alternative, but some experienced options are still available in free agency. Many of these quarterbacks were left without a clear destination due to the uncertainty surrounding Rodgers. Now that this saga has come to an end, the Vikings can evaluate their alternatives with more concreteness. Since the start of free agency on March 10th, NFL experts have been debating the best veteran quarterback options to make up the Vikings roster. One of these analysts, ESPN's Dan Orlovsky, suggested Jameis Winston as an ideal fit for the Minnesota franchise. During a special on ESPN2, Orlovsky highlighted Winston as the most sensible option for the Vikings, especially if Daniel Jones were to sign with another team. During ESPN's free agency special on ESPN2, Dan Orlovsky suggested Jameis Winston as the best quarterback option available to the Vikings if Daniel Jones were to sign with another team. Now that Daniel Jones has secured a new starting job with the Indianapolis Colts, the idea of Winston in Minnesota is gaining traction. The suggestion may have initially seemed unexpected, but a deeper look shows that his arrival could be extremely beneficial for the Vikings. CBS Sports' Cody Benjamin analyzed the top free agents still available and also linked Winston to the Vikings as the top choice for the backup quarterback position. Carson Wentz could also be an interesting option, especially considering his Midwestern roots. However, Winston is younger and has more recent experience as a starter. Additionally, Kevin O'Connell could appreciate his energy and leadership in the same locker room as the up-and-coming J.J. McCarthy. While Wentz is a valid mention, Benjamin stresses that Winston is best suited to the role of mentor and immediate replacement for McCarthy. As a former #1 overall pick, Winston has had his ups and downs in his career, but has recently found stability as a reliable backup and team leader. While maintaining an aggressive style of play, Winston has demonstrated qualities that make him an excellent backup. Last season for the Browns, he threw 11 of his 12 interceptions in just 4 of his 7 starts. However, he also topped 300 yards in 3 of those games, showing that he still has the talent to deliver when needed. This style of play, while risky, meets 2 key criteria for a backup quarterback. He can play an effective role when called upon to play and make games more dynamic. In addition, his experience allows him to serve as a mentor to McCarthy without directly threatening his development as a starter. Why are the Vikings betting on a veteran quarterback? The selection of Winston is not just about filling a roster spot, but also about ensuring that McCarthy has adequate support as he adapts to the professional level. Young quarterbacks often struggle in their first seasons, and having an experienced veteran in his corner can make all the difference in his development. The Vikings want not only a talented backup, but someone who will contribute to McCarthy's growth on and off the field. Winston has demonstrated this ability throughout his time in the NFL, especially in recent years when he has assumed a leadership role in the locker room wherever he has been. With several options still on the market, the Vikings continue to evaluate the best strategy to bolster their quarterback room. However, the possibility of counting on Winston is gaining more and more strength and could come to fruition soon. If that happens, Minnesota will have a valuable piece not only to strengthen its roster, but also to help J.J. McCarthy transition into the role of franchise leader. Vikings consider former Pro Bowl QB Ryan Tannehill as an option after ruling out Aaron Rodgers. With the Minnesota Vikings officially ruling out any possibility of having Aaron Rodgers, the team is still looking for a veteran quarterback to fill the roster and provide support for J.J. McCarthy. The goal, according to Minnesota Star Tribune reporter Ben Goesling, is not to bring in a name to compete for the starting job, but rather to secure an experienced mentor for the young 22-year-old quarterback. The team has several options at its disposal, including the possibility of a trade at the end of the offseason. However, one name that stands out among the available free agents is that of former Pro Bowler Ryan Tannehill, who, according to Gosling, is a viable option and deserves special attention. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, on March 19th, Gosling noted that Tannehill, a former Tennessee Titans quarterback, could be an ideal fit for Minnesota, especially since his signing would not impact the 2026 compensatory pick formula. That could be a crucial factor as the Vikings look to balance their free agency moves without compromising the franchise's future in the draft. At 36, Tannehill did not play in 2024, but his experience makes him a solid candidate to step into McCarthy's mentor role. The 8th overall pick in the 2012 draft, the quarterback had notable stints with both the Miami Dolphins and Tennessee Titans. His arrival in Tennessee was a game-changer. Initially signed as a backup, he took over as the starter in Week 7 after Marcus Mariota was released and led the Titans to an impressive run of victories, including a playoff run to the AFC Championship. In his 10 starts that season, Tannehill put up Pro Bowl caliber numbers, averaging 228 yards per game, 22 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions, while also posting one of the league's best passer ratings at 117.5. His performance helped the Titans make a surprise run in the postseason, where he threw for 5 touchdowns and just 1 interception before the team fell to the eventual champion Kansas City Chiefs in the conference championship game. While his prime days are behind him, Tannehill has still shown his competitive streak in recent years. In 2021, he led the Titans to a 12-5 record despite the absence of Derrick Henry for much of the season. That year, he threw for 3,734 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions, showing that he was still capable of leading a high-level offense. If the Vikings do go for Tannehill, they would be bringing in a quarterback who can not only serve as a mentor to McCarthy, but also step up to the plate if needed. The team is looking for a reliable backup who can step up when needed, but also contribute to the development of the young quarterback. And considering that Tannehill would be joining one of the most quarterback-friendly environments in the NFL under coach Kevin O'Connell, who is known for his development work at the position, there's good reason to believe he could still play a key role if McCarthy needs more time to acclimate to the league. The Vikings' search for a veteran quarterback continues, and Tannehill emerges as a realistic and strategically advantageous option. In addition to his solid track record, his experience and leadership could be crucial to McCarthy's transition, ensuring the team has a solid plan in place should they need a reliable QB during the season. Minnesota could still explore the trade market or other options in free agency, but the possibility of Tannehill is increasingly strong. Now, it remains to be seen whether the franchise will make this decision and close the deal before training begins.